22nd, 1985, around 2 a.m., a 14-year-old girl and her 19-year-old boyfriend crept through the quiet Russian Jack neighborhood. They picked a modest home belonging to an elderly couple. What started as a robbery exploded into one of the most shocking triple murders in Alaska history. 3 vulnerable seniors shot and left for dead in their own living room. The deadliest teen girl in state history had just struck. Winona Fletcher was only 14, a 7th grade dropout. Her boyfriend, Cordell Boyd, was 19. The pair planned a quick score. They knocked on the door of 69-year-old Tom Faccio and his 70-year-old wife, Anne. Anne's 75-year-old sister, Amelia Elliott, was visiting. The teens claimed they needed to use the phone. The trusting couple let them in. Inside, things turned deadly fast. Gunshots ripped through the house. Tom, Anne, and Amelia were executed at close range. 3 elderly lives erased in minutes during a botched home invasion. The brutality shocked the community. Helpless seniors gunned down in the safety of their home. Winona Fletcher didn't come from nowhere. She grew up in a chaotic, abusive household, and by 13 she'd fallen completely under the control of Boyd, a man 5 years older. Boyd allegedly led the plan, but Fletcher participated fully. Prosecutors painted her as deeply involved in the violence that left 3 people dead. Was Winona a killer by nature, or a child shaped and weaponized by an adult predator? That question would haunt her case for the next 40 years. The attack was over almost as quickly as it began. The duo fled, but evidence and a careless confession soon pointed straight to the pair. Boyd bragged about the killings to a fellow inmate during an unrelated arrest. Within weeks, both were in custody. Fletcher was arrested and charged as an adult, the youngest female ever convicted of murder in Alaska. The trial laid bare the horror. 3 innocent seniors, trusting enough to open their door, slaughtered for pocket change. Then came the first twist. At trial, Boyd, the adult, the one who allegedly orchestrated the entire robbery, testified that the murders were actually Fletcher's idea, that she showed little reluctance to kill. The court believed him. Fletcher, just 15 by then, was sentenced to a staggering 297 years, later reduced to 135. The prosecutor told the courtroom she couldn't explain how a 14-year-old became this evil. She just was. Years later, Boyd quietly admitted he'd lied on the stand. For 40 years, Winona Fletcher disappeared into Alaska's prison system, the youngest female murderer in state history, serving what amounted to a life sentence for a crime committed before she could legally drive. Then came the second twist. In 2023, Alaska's Court of Appeals ruled that courts must weigh a juvenile's age and capacity for change before locking them away forever. The ruling applied retroactively. Fletcher, now in her 50s, qualified. At her resentencing, witnesses described a transformed woman, calm, remorseful, trusted by staff after decades behind bars. A psychologist testified her brain had finished developing, that she'd worked through her trauma. The victim's family disagreed. They'd spent 40 years reliving the murders through court appeals, insisting that true justice meant Fletcher should never walk free. The judge ruled anyway. Her sentence was cut to 60 years. With time served and good behavior, Winona Fletcher walked free at 54 years old, free, after spending her entire adult life behind bars for a crime committed as a child. Fletcher has said it's still hard to believe she was once that person, but for the families of Tom Faccio, Anne Faccio, and Amelia Elliott, no apology brings back 3 people whose final moments were filled with terror. This case exposes the darkest side of youth crime, a 14-year-old capable of deadly violence. Winona Fletcher remains a haunting example of how quickly a teen can become one of the deadliest killers in the state. Some see redemption, others see justice denied. What do you think? Should a crime committed at 14 mean life behind bars, Or is there room for a second chance? Drop your thoughts below. You're watching Inside Capital Crime. Subscribe for more disturbing true crime stories.